Hey, 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 welcome back to the Virgo channel. I'm going to do a message for my winner and also for whoever that resonates because that's how this channel and energy works, spiritual energy works. Like a magnet goes to who would be like, hey, that's my story. I get that all the time. And the reason why is because we are attracted to like minded things. So when we're doing shadow readings, because that is what this channel is about, it does tell you everything, but I like to take it a little bit deeper because a lot of times people, like, by the time they find my channel, they're like, my relationships aren't working, or it might not happen for me, or I can't have, or the same type of karmic theme continues to play out that makes me feel as if I can't have, which, understand, you can have whatever you want. Believe it or not, the perception is that you can't due to past experiences. So integrating the spiritual lesson is really important, especially if you're going to deal with any type of karmic partner. If it's a twin flame, a karmic mate, any type of soul mate, you better like understand why this person's coming into your life. Karma we associate with bad because a lot of times we don't learn the lesson. We're like, that person felt familiar to me, that person felt like home, that person was my person. I know that that person was my person. So they hurt me. How could this is how psychic trauma is created? Psychological trauma makes us form habits and behaviorisms that are out of balance with what we want. Your mind, your psyche is all about protecting yourself. So unconsciously we form these behaviorisms. That's why it's really important if you're with a narcissist or if you're with somebody that's toxic that you know, hey, my winner is on messenger of angels, and that's completely your energy. Just want you to know, um, I would not be a messenger of angels type of person. because I'm very direct. Where messengers of the angels, I kind of feel like they'll give you the message, but they'll do it in a nice flowery way. Like, yes, you're going to hell, but on the way you'll have, you'll see a lot of amazing things, instead of you're going to hell. like, you know. So I feel like you have empath energy, sensitive people, right? Highly sensitive people that need healing. I feel like you have healer energy, but you have to heal yourself. And how it plays out is it does play out within your relationships, is what I'm feeling. And can you have love? Absolutely. You are love. Understand your love. That's your energy because spirit made you. You are connected to every single person on the planet through the gift of sensitivity and empathy. You can feel it. You're like, hey, when you resonate with somebody, when you know that they're thinking of you, it's again ESP through the heart and mind. And we're able to do this because our energy is of unconditional love. The shadows, however, that you created are not of unconditional love. And those shadows need to be integrated. Those shadows are what makes you perceive that you can't have love. And so you have to say, well, why does this keep happening? And what can I do to actually integrate the spiritual lesson? Because when you keep, because your fear is not that you can't meet anybody at this, you're like, but it's the type of person, and will they fulfill you? Will you emotionally get what you need? Because the theme is you never emotionally get what you need. And that's part of the reason how you're a highly sensitive person. Highly sensitive people, that when they've lived the same karmic theme over and over and over again, um, they begin to unconsciously look for it, understand. Like, highly sensitive people are healers. They're by trait, they're fixers. They're able to see things that are out of balance to create balance. So it's not uncommon that your life would look, well, my life looks okay, but then I get someone in my life and then my life doesn't look okay. Or it creates so much chaos and I don't really understand why. And so understand it's because you attract people that are also not healed. You're a magnet of who and what comes into your life. So the way that you heal yourself, spirit is really saying, is your connection to the earth, connection to your passions, you you. Like there needs to be enough of that because, like I said, automatically without even pulling the card, I'm like, you have very highly sensitive energy. You're like that person that can something out of nothing. You are very intuitive. You, like you said, but if a person comes into your life and you don't, not putting your energy towards you, you're going to put it towards that person. So unconsciously, we tend to give people what we didn't have as a way to express our love. Be like, well, this is how I would like it, but that person didn't earn it. And so it's different if a person's been in your life and they've been contributing to your life, if they've been contributing to your life, they've emotionally connected to your life. So the issue is you get people that are attracted to you and then they think that they know you through what they perceive. And then you're rolling out the red carpet and over giving, overdoing, like many highly sensitive people do. It's like, well, I want to be treated. That person didn't earn it. Were already attracted to you. Attraction is not the issue. The attraction is giving too much too soon right away. And that's, and so it's like I said, you'll get people that also don't believe that they can have love. So it'll play out as a way that they run, they chase, they play games, they manipulate, they do things to press your buttons, to create some sort of drama, to be like, okay, like the emotional reaction is enough for me to show me that you care about me. So I never have to give you anything. I can stay in a place of like indifference, which is kind of like the way that you grew up. It's like making you feel like that. Yeah, well, that's the energy that is still resonated. So even though you learned it, you haven't fully integrated it. So, which is probably why you found this channel because the spirit's like, you're almost there. Like it's again, but you have to ground the spiritual lesson. You have to integrate the spiritual lesson. Otherwise, that's why your higher self like is never going to happen because you're like, I don't know why it keeps happening. Change everything. And God says, you don't change. You're not supposed to physically try and change. You're supposed to become yourself and give that person less time. Because God says, then I help you train that person by bringing you people, situations, and experiences that make that person, if there is love, they're going to be afraid to lose you. A man doesn't want to surrender his ego. When you have this very yin energy, you're going to attract very male energy. And very male energy is kind of like very stubborn energy. It's like survival. It's very logical. It's very linear. We need that energy. I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with it. But what I'm going to say is that that type of energy is not, it's too far left where spirit's saying, well, you're too far right, and imbalance goes to imbalance, and you're me in physical form. I am divine masculine, I am divine feminine. And so you need to integrate certain lessons. You wouldn't learn those lessons unless I bring you certain people. So you're not gonna volunteer to be with an asshole. No, it's like, oh yeah, let me get triggered. That's what I want in a relationship. No one wants that. It comes in a pretty package that we're like, you feel familiar to me. I feel like I've known you before. It's like, oh, and there's others and there's all this spiritual shit that makes both of your minds blow open because you're like, yo, I feel it, you feel it. It's something special, only is it something special? It's a divine connection that spirit's saying you need this person's energy. It's like on a very simple and alchemy level, you need this person's energy to learn the lessons of unconditional love. So, and they're going to do it by triggering the shit out of you because you wouldn't know what's blocked. You wouldn't know. It's when that person makes you feel a certain way. So you get triggered and then you want to talk about it, which is actually the worst thing that you can do with that type of energy. Because they're like, oh, talk about it. It's like, oh no, we don't do that around here. because that creates emotions. And so we can't really do that. So, like, you're going to be in this thing. So it's to give less. It's to give less. It's to, again, divine feminine energy. Think of Empress energy. It's, I don't have time for your bullshit. I don't have time. I'm too busy. I have life. You're caught up in your drive of thinking I'm chasing you, but I'm actually in life, having a good old fucking time. It's like, and yes, there are a lot of other people here. If you notice, look at the selection of people that I have. It's like, you don't think that they see that? The ego, again, too masculine is too ego. It's like the wall is up. And you're like, let's talk about it. They're like, no, we're not going to talk about shit. It's like, that's a, you got to be like, I don't need to talk about it because I'm going to get what I want either way, with or without you. Empress energy. That's what needs to happen. Where spirit's saying, you grew up in an environment that like didn't nurture that. And then on top of it, you don't nurture it. And so spirit's saying, like, I got to show you where you're empty. And so once you fill that cup, well, it's again, that energy is still there. It's like you can manipulate, shape shift the situation because the person already has feelings for you. It's not that they don't, they want things their way. And that way usually is when they can elevate themselves a little and you a little bit lower because they're coming from a survival state. Unconsciously, not realizing that they're creating that, self-fulfilled prophecy that they don't believe that they can have love. So, which is what you actually feel like you can't have because that scenario keeps playing out where spirit's saying you can have whatever you want. It's that you're not playing the game right. And so, and the reason why is because you're not coming from your true self, your higher self. So you'll always create an attachment. Right. It's not attractive when you're like, when it's attractive when you're confident. It's attractive when you treat somebody like they're like it's attractive when you know your worth. It's not attractive when a person treats you in that manner. And that also tells you something. It tells you that they are not on the same vibrational frequency as you. And that's what you said. Like, I know that this person, how do you think a person rises? They rise through their soulmates. It's like because love is the only universal panacea, love is the only like antidote that you can actually integrate to get a person to do what they don't want to do. The ego is survival. It's saying, I don't want to volunteer into this. Why? Because I'm going to base all my theories on all my past experiences, which were shit, which were bad, which were because I don't go about things right way. But I don't look at it that way. Instead, I've gotten to a point where it's everyone else, and that's not me. That's again their perception of a wounded masculine, and that's what you're dealing with. So it's like this person does have feelings. It's not about feelings because love is love. It's just this person is like to love is to feel. And on some level, trauma creates detachment and disassociation. So where the person is like, I don't really know what to do with these feelings. Because on one time within my life when I was young, I got close and it hurt me, so I shut down. So that's really why this person begun to live their life more from a logical, analytical standpoint, which makes sense to them. But again, it's through that wounded aspect of themselves. So that's why I'm saying you're connected to this, watching this person treat you that way, you begin to think those things. Well, and that's why I'm saying it's like you would still need to learn what you did in order to break the karmic cycle. Otherwise, you'll continue to get those type people. That's why it says in the Bible, what you resist persists. Like, you're like, well, why does it keep happening? Is it going to happen? And Spirit says, again, if you continue to do that, so you have to put your time into more you. And so part of you is like, I don't know what to do. And Spirit says, that's the issue. It's not, it's not the person, believe it or not. It's the fact that you're not filling your cup up enough. You have to fill your cup up so that it overflows. And gets whatever trickles out of the cup. You're giving from your cup. And Spirit saying, I have a problem with that because it doesn't make you strong. It makes you believe that you need that again because you didn't have that, which is not really what it is. It's the fact that again, was there a lack of support maybe growing up and creating yourself and helping you to create what you truly want to do? Right. And so that's why it's like once you really embody that, then you're going to meet people more on your energetic level. And then that also teaches that person karmically, not saying that you want to or you don't, but Spirit's just saying, just so you know, when you do the right thing, then that's how that person eats the karma. And because they do have feelings, they just think, well, it's not really a big deal the way that I treat you, because I can continue to see myself through a differently, like being like child, investing her time and loving herself. I'm going to bring her something so amazing that even she doesn't know that it's coming. And you're going to be across the face like, fuck her, move. And obviously, why would she want to deal with you now? It's like Spirit says, I will make that person surrender their ego. I will make that person humble themselves, Spirit says. But it takes a lot of work on your part. That's why they always say women are the ones that save the world. It's like it's more of that feminine energy of I'm not going to fight you. I'm not going to talk about it. I'm not going to manipulate it. I'm not going to force it. I'm not going to do a damn thing. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to have a love affair with myself. And I'm going to invest in myself. And then you're going to see I'm going to meet so many different people. And I'm not even moving me. I'm living my bliss. It's an actual co-creation with Spirit where you're like, I know what I want to do, but I'm not really quite sure. And Spirit says, you're not in charge of how we get there. You're in charge of what you want to do. So you invest. Right. And so once you're in this energy, you think you become like a superpower. You don't realize it's like person that doesn't hold to your vibration, you see it, you have discernment. It's not worth my time. It's not worth my time. This is how you become an empress. It's not worth my time. And how is your existence going to affect my life? What type of person are you? It's like you begin to care about those type of things where before you didn't. Before you were like, oh, I want to treat people the way I want to be treated, which I want to be loved. So I'm going to be loved. And then I'm going to get shit on. So no. It's not because people come from their level of consciousness. They're not caught up in whatever. You got to show them. I don't care whether you're in my life, you're out of my life, you like me, you don't, you're clapping for me, you're sticking your middle finger up at me. I don't really care. Whatever it is, I'm doing me and I'm having a love affair with me. Then the right people come into your life and they're like, I like what you had to say. I like your energy. Birds of a feather flock together, and it's not uncommon to notice, like, where did all my friends go? like, what happened? Like, I had to clear the room, and sometimes it's just you were at such a low self-esteem that you attracted people on that vibration, and as you raise your vibration, you're going to trigger them because there's parts of that person that don't believe that they can have. They thought that you and them were on the same level. You showed them that you're not. And it's not that it's a competition, but Spirit says, I get people to move through that. There is an emotional connection with these past people. And they do that because it's, again, I want them to move. I want them to heal. So by you changing, they may be like, I hate you, I'm jealous, but they're like, you're doing it. what I would say. And then they try and be like, what the fuck if she's doing it, what do I got to do it? It's like, if she can have it, then I can have it. And that's, and once that person begins to feed themselves and see that they found their own unique style, like, oh, I don't hate that person. Oh, yeah, yeah, we've been friends. Oh, no, that didn't happen. I didn't try and like completely sabotage that person's business. You know what I mean? Because all they'll remember is, oh, that person inspired me, that person. In survival, people do whatever they do, and psychological survival is, it's like, you're leaving me behind. You're leaving me behind because I'm judging myself. I'm judging my process. Because I keep looking in your lane. And people have to realize that they have to invest enough in their time. And so it's not uncommon to be by yourself a lot of time because you're not on any which vibration yet, and then you don't want these type of parasitic people to come into your life to contaminate it, because it matters who you're around, where you're putting your time, your energy, your focus, and your money when you want to manifest. You obviously can't be with Debbie Downer 24/7 and be like, yeah, I'm in the vibration of love. It's like, I have a best friend that, I mean, I love her to death, but she just lost her sister. I try to be there for her and say, hey, put your energy into this. She doesn't really want to. And so the person have their time. You know what I mean? It's like you have to let people, and that's why I'm saying your gift of style will allow you to do that. Having a love affair with yourself will allow you to do that, regardless of the person, is why I shared that story of mine. It's like, because you will be challenged. You will be challenged. And but you gotta love yourself enough to do it. And once you learn that and you've loved yourself enough, someone that comes in and gives you so much less, you're like, I just protected this, what I've created. I'm not just going to let you come in and disregard it when you haven't invested any time, any energy, any effort into me. It's like, and will they like it? No. But you will have to teach if that person comes in but that has a low vibration that you actually like, you'll have to teach them. And part of spirit says, really learn the lesson. So you're going to get a person that, tries to, you know, press the boundaries. It's again going to get triggered too, because it's like, but you're learning unconditional love, because it's like, wow, fucking stop this person that triggered the fuck out of me because I had to say something. I really feel like I shouldn't have to say something. They should already know. And then, but I can't walk away from them either because I like them too much. You know what I mean? And spirit's like, surrender. It's like acceptance. That's your emotional response, because it's like, well, every time I have to say something, it gets annoyed, and I feel like I'm dealing with a parent that was nasty to me or whatever. So it's going to be a trigger. Well, that's what I'm saying. You will get a lot of times you do. It's like, that's why I'm saying, and it's not you per se. We all do. We all do. And that's why I'm telling you, it's like you awaken what's dark within. You're not going to voluntarily be like, oh yeah, let me like heal my wounds, let me deal with that. Well, a lot of times we're like, they're healed, I fixed it. And spirit's like, no, you haven't, because you don't know how to deal with that energy. So that energy comes to you within your work, that energy comes to you within friends, that energy plays out as karmic themes, other areas of your life. So until you actually embody it and go through the experience and see a different perception, you don't learn the karmic lesson. It continues to happen. That's what I said earlier. That's why I'm like, even though you learned, you're going through what it is now. So, and now, does it mean that people aren't also you're getting someone that stays dumb. No, you've always been committed to people that chose to stay stupid. I'm not gonna lie here. People that's like, hey, it doesn't work for me to actually evolve. It actually works better this way because again, it fed their ego. So you're not gonna pull people to you that are gonna be like that. You'll pull people that are like open to to hearing it. It's just they're not aware. They're not aware. And that's the difference between like divine. Divine doesn't mean perfect, that you're getting a person that wants to be in to their divine masculine energy. We're down here in physical form to learn. And so like I said, so you're not getting someone that's completely like how it was, so don't be like, oh my god, like what the fuck. like I never get better energy. It's like, no, you eventually get better energy. It's just, to assume that the person's going to know how to treat you. They don't. It's ironic, you always will get a person that like awakens certain things that you're like, what the hell? It's like, I haven't thought about that, or I never thought about that, or I never thought that that bothered me. I never thought that that was important to me. I never thought, and it's just spirit's way of awakening you to like, by like what you need healed, what new awarenesses that you wouldn't have. So spirit's just saying, continue to have the love affair with yourself. You're going to do great in this because it's how much love you put into it. So that's not the issue. The issue is, you know, continuing to invest in yourself even when a person comes into your life, training a person how you want to be treated, through how you're treating yourself, through how you're treating others. That's where your root chakra was imbalanced. It's like I feel like you didn't watch people treat themselves that well, and then again they didn't weren't capable of treating you with that nurturing. So there's a root chakra imbalance, which is a disconnect from the physical body, the physical world, all the physical elements of the physical world, and God itself. Because God's like, well, it's you and me, kid. I give you the supernatural power to do what you want to do, but you got to be a clear conduit for me to work through. And again, if you have spiritual blocks and shadows, well, then you're not, it's not going to work. It's like, again, you're going to have resistance. So you wouldn't know where those energies were or how they still were affecting you. But healing means you actually get to see a different outcome. So God says, I'm also your father and your mother, and I give you support because I work through you, through God, intuition, inner knowing, environment to bring you the people, situations, and experiences that change your mind and your heart. So continue to invest in yourself, and you will clear those karmic programs by becoming yourself. Because shadows are like not all the time wounds. Sometimes they're gifts that we had to suppress due to the environment not really being acceptance of like sensitivity or other things. So you'll become more of yourself. The shadows were really created again by the ego to protect us. So like I said, that's really what's happening. You're in a space of trying to integrate that, and you are integrating it, but obviously we're like, well, what does it look like, how fast is it supposed to be? Because there's all these things like, am I doing it the right way, is it gonna work out, it says everything else up to me. You're not in charge of how we get there. I am, because again, that's how you get healed. That's really how you get healed, because I will again bring you everything that you need. We see the magician, like that tarot, it's like you have everything that you need. So it's about implementing what you need, and you find those things when you're on your journey. So giving too much to someone, and so it doesn't mean not to invite anyone into your life, but if there's 8 slices of pizza in a pizza pie, that person gets a slice or half a slice in the beginning. They don't get a full slice. I'm busy. I'm busy. And will you throw a temper tantrum? Will it trigger your ego and be like, oh, you don't like me enough, and possibly talk to other people? Yes. But you'll be comparing me to them the whole time. And what you'll see is you get bored with those people, but you're still thinking about me. And the reason why is because I never give you a lot. I give you like a half a slice, a slice. So there's always a yearning for more, and kind of like, well, people give me like four slices, and other people are stupid because other people like, and where are you now? You don't even want to like entertain it like those people. So I don't get my emotional fulfillment from you because you're emotionally insecure. Because God's going to bring me that because again, I didn't get it either. So what you do is you're like, have a love affair with yourself. You put the thing is like, I don't need you to be fulfilled. I have passions in many areas of my life. And what that does is then they look at their life and they're like, why don't I have fun in my life? And they're like, well, why does my life look like this? My life looks like shit in comparison. You know what I mean? And Spirit says, yes. That's why I've created this muse for you to show you that you're like really living out of balance. It's like you go to work, you come home, you go to work, you come home, you go to work, you come home, and you think that your fun is to like hook up with people until it becomes not fun anymore because the type of people that those people get are not. So there's a sense of I want to be with different energy. I just don't know what it looks like, and they don't. They're visual. Why again, girls wear makeup. It's like it's because your life is not just who you are, and so and that if you look a lot of times, it's like that type of energy, too masculine energy, their emotions are shut down. So they're trying to like, strategize a relationship. So you come across like an asshole. And then they're like, no one likes me. Well, it's like, hello. It's like, like yeah, because you're again like trying to navigate your life and relationships that require you to have an open heart. You have to, again, it's about giving and receiving of love. It's not, and so again, they're like, oh no, I can't do that. It's like, but Spirit says, oh, yes, you can. I'm just going to make you surrender your ego, but I need your help. And so it's again, so I'm going to bring you this person that's a karmic mate. And so karma just means learn. So somebody's going to learn here. And a lot of times both of you learn. So you're like, well, the only difference is that you know, you're navigating in a way that's very protective of yourself invested in your life. So if this person leaves your life emotionally, you don't care. It's like you might be like, oh, well, that's sad or that sucks. But then you meet other people that will take your mind off and it'll help you through, you know. And a lot of times when you stand your ground, that person, if there's real love, they wind up coming back because what they see is, well, this person doesn't give a shit. They're like, I played these games thinking that they were going to chase me, and where is she? She's again, she's over there. She's having a good old time. And I just pretty much blocked myself like because I'm still over here waiting for this person to chase me. And they're over there having a good time with those other people. And I look like an asshole. It's like, this is what, because now I have to come back and be like, hey, remember me? The one that blocked you? It's like, but that's what it is. It's like somebody's got to humble themselves. And if you're like, well, listen, I didn't do anything wrong, well, it's again, then you need to stand around. And if it's true, then they're going to like, believe it or not, oh, well, come around here because of, oh, to apologize, maybe. Like, I mean, and don't be surprised if the person has a hard time apologizing because on some level, they were taught not to be vulnerable, not to show weakness, to be a man. Usually that's like be a man. Like don't show your emotions. Make that person where it's again that it's like, no, that's really dated thinking. Where what are we like pilgrims? or whatever that time period was where, you're gonna go out and hunt, or caveman. Is that like, it's very like dated thinking, where somebody was raised to not show vulnerability, to not tap in to that sensitive part of themselves, to the emotions. So they've been navigating their life mainly through a very logical and linear way, which is all okay until you want to have relationships. Then it becomes a problem. So then this person's like, well, no one likes me. It's like, I just don't fit in anywhere. I'm misunderstood. That's what the problem is. It's like, you have to apologize. You have to learn how to, but that nothing was done for them, which is why there's a sense of, I don't really know how to do this. So that's why they're getting someone that is sensitive, that's going to be like, oh, well, I guess I can show you. Like, this is where you went wrong. It's like, this is what it should look like. Because you know that person, like, wants to, but it doesn't mean that they know how. How do you think people, I mean, get it? And that they had said something, and I don't know why I'm being pulled to call this, that very attractive women will not put up with this type of energy a lot of times. And this is why you'll find very attractive single, like women single a lot of times. It's because, again, people are not just, you're not just getting someone that's automatically healed. It's with every relationship that continues to play out the same karmic theme, that that person believes that they can't have love, that they really can't have, like, be connected. They form behaviorisms, habits, and survival mechanisms in order to protect themselves. So the only thing that's healing is God, and that God works through us, and it's through our character, and it's through where we're going to put our time and how we're going to handle the situation. That is the only way to transmute that negative energy, because it is negative energy, and but it was created out of, survival mechanism. No one really wants to be like that. Even you'll say, no, that person's created a persona that they're like, oh yeah, I'm a playboy, I'm a playgirl, look at me, I like to be treated like scum. No one wants that. People will pretend that, because they're, well, it's not working any other way, so I'm going to fake it till I make it. I'm going to make it work. But it's again, integration really means getting what you want, being able to. And so we're actually in the spirit realm, that makes us perceive a lot of times that we can't have, there's not enough money, there's not enough time, there's not enough. But the world, so how is that possible? It's like, well, we're not utilizing our full capacity of our mind, the psychic mind. Everybody's psychic. It's like we're taught, oh no, that's not what you see. That's not what you feel. No, 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 that's not. Don't look behind the green curtain, like the Wizard of Oz. It's like, but I'm seeing, like, there's a man like behind there that's pulling string. It's like, no, you're not seeing that. It's like, oh, I guess I'm not. It's like, you like don't feel. People become desensitized. People begin, where really Spirit's saying, you have all the tools. So that's why a person that lives in a, like Africa, let's just say, that they has no resources, somewhere like in the desert where there's no resources, they can become anything that they want. They that's how they become Olympic runners. It's like, how did that motherfucking like become like world champion all over the world? Everybody knows who they are. They just ran because they had nothing better to do but run all day long in the desert. It's like, so they learned how to run with barely any, how to run on hot sand. They learn how to run. It's like they've incorporated certain gifts. Spirit saying, it's like, wherever you lose yourself, wherever you got to lose yourself in your imagination, that is where the kingdom of heaven is. That's where the kingdom of God is. When you're again co-creating, that keeps you safe, and that is how you train a person, because you're like, I don't have time for anything that's not going to be on that vibration. and understand, like moths to a flame. They're like, I want to be on that vibration. I want to be on that vibration because you look like you're having a good time. I'm not having a good time. It's like I'm not having a good time in my life, so it's like, so there's like an actual fear, like I don't want to live my life like this either, because on some level, subconsciously, everyone knows that it's wrong to live in survival mode. To be like, well, it's just work home. Like these are the choices because I don't have enough. There isn't enough. There isn't. And spirit says, it's again, that's that perception, the perception of, again, becoming unconditional love by doing what you love, by becoming yourself, is the antidote. Healing yourself, because you integrate those shadows, you command the environment to treat you as you want. Otherwise, they fall away because no one wants to see you having a good time if they're not capable of clapping for you. You think they want to see your achievements? No, they're going to be like, I don't see nothing. I don't see anything. I'm not going to give it any energy. That's what people will do. They'll say, I won't say anything. And I won't say anything because it's like, I just won't say anything. It's like where it's like, so you got to generate your own like happiness. And so it's the people that you're interactive with that are going to be clapping for you. You got to clap for yourself sometimes, and understand that that's just spirit's way of saying those people aren't doing it. So the fact that you're doing it and other people aren't doing it, now they're looking at themselves and judging themselves, and everyone's used as a catalyst, spirit says, because I want people to evolve. So of course I'm going to make what's perceived as the most broken or the most sensitive to be able to create it. You know what I mean? It's like, so that people are like, well, what the fuck? Like that person couldn't even like do it. Like they were a loser back in high school. Like, why is their life so easy now? It's like, well, again, all that trauma, keeps you in your head. It's like, so you're in the imagination, you're safe. If you can imagine it, you can create it. Understand, the child that survives thrives because part of them had to be in that imagination. So you have to go back into that imagination. That can get you through any type of chaos. It becomes organized chaos, but it becomes chaos because you're like, well, I'm in the creation part. So is shit happening? Yeah, shit's happening, but it doesn't matter because my mind is over here. And spirit says, yeah, that's what the poem Footprints is about. When God says, those are my footprints. I'm carrying you through that co-creation process. So then everyone's saying, why is everything so easy for you? Right? Everything's not because I put the load on me. It's like I'm putting the load on, again, on putting the load on God, which is the universe, because the universe is ubiquitous. The universe wants to be able to work through us to make us be able to create our heaven on earth. And by doing, and then you're not dealing with these lower energies of, I don't know what I want. I've been hurt before. It's like that's what it is. It's like the universe always wants to be able to work through us. Our mission down here is to be an expression of love. That's what it is. Through all different things that we do by becoming of love. So we wouldn't know that we had wounds. We wouldn't know. We're like, oh, that happened so long ago. I'm over it. I forgave. I don't even care about that bitch anymore. Like where spirit's like, you still care. It's like, oh, like how? And spirit will say, well, you don't realize that it's in your behaviorisms, how you deal with certain things. And those things are preventing you from actually being open to receiving. So again, this is not a voluntary thing. We don't want to, oh yeah, let me be around things that are going to trigger the shit out of me and make me feel bad. What it is that we fall in love. It's again, and we invest in things that we love. That brings us to challenging moments and times that call for us to act a certain way. Karma is the fact that, the action of what we've been dealing with, like how we've been going about dealing, has not really been in alignment. It's like we don't learn. And so, in order to really learn it, you have to actually go through the experience again and deal with it differently. So, I feel like that's once you're like really doing it, and I feel like you started to do what everything that we've talked about, like that this is where you are right now. You are have been invested in yourself. You have been doing all of it. But I feel like another 2 years, and so you'll date and the quality of relationships will be better. But part of it is really understanding what is it that you want. I don't believe that you watched like a great marriage like growing up, so it was like I wasn't treated well and then I had to watch that. So I'm like, there's it's like because I want it, but I don't know what that actually looks like. I don't know what that entails. All I know is from past experience. Experience says you're trying to drive again. It's like you're not in charge of how we get there. It's more or less right. So that's why I'm saying for you, the trauma is that it's like I don't know whether it's possible. It's like of course it's got to be possible, but like what's the secret? And spirit says the secret is again just becoming unconditional love, and then by investing more in yourself, then that trains that person because it's not like they won't talk to other people, but guess what? They're going to talk to other people anyway. So it's best that they talk to other people in the beginning of the relationship when you're like, I'm not really that invested in you, and I'm emotionally getting everything what I need from a lot of other people. So I'm dating you. This is why you only get a half a slice of pizza, though. So it's like you don't tell them that, but you're like, "Oh, here's the half a slice of pizza, and here it is." Now you've been around some beautiful couples, so now I know what it looks like, and I know what to look for. It's not uncommon that that happens. It's like, well, this is what it, like this is what you would need to ask for because not coming from that, you don't even realize, well, what am I looking for aside from can you make money and are you good looking? And like, are we going to have a good time, like romantically? like this, the end spirit says, oh, we're really shooting for the bottom of the barrel. That's like, that's survival. It's like, what are you, caveman? Going back to caveman. All I want is someone that's good looking, someone that's going to provide for. Spirit says, again, no common interests. It's again, love is what needs to connect. And so that's why what you watched was codependency. And codependency, with codependency comes attachment, and that is toxic. It's like because someone's not emotionally getting somewhere. So it's usually somebody that is good with finances, coupled up with someone that's emotionally like the person that gives and runs the relationship like all by themselves because the other person is emotionally checked out. So it was built on passion, it was built on attraction, and it doesn't mean that there isn't love. It means that there's a lot of hurt around that love because both parties didn't heal. That's why they got into the attachment and codependency to begin with. So this is something that you need to break, which is the karmic cycle, the ancestral karma of, I got into an attachment. So I'm miserable in my relationship too. No, it's like we don't want to do that. What we want to do is I met Fred in the Amazon when I was like doing my healing work, and but he's Hawaiian, and and we travel around the world, and so I don't see him sometimes because he's teaching his thing, but during that time I'm creating myself, and we both have a life together, but we also have very rich lives on our own. And so again, and we learned what compromise was. We learned what balance was. We learned what forgiveness was. We learned what, because we were balanced. It wasn't like we were trying to give from an empty jar and then expecting that person. And then the whole time we were filling ourselves and realizing when we got triggered that it was something within inside of us. We were able to do that because it wasn't, you know, it's like that's the issue. It's like a lot of people don't do their healing work, and then they just get into another relationship. And so it's the baggage. It's all that baggage. So when you're like, I feel like I get taken, like things get taken out on me that were done not in the relationship, but in the previous relationship. And it's like, yes, because then a person overcompensates. This is what a second chakra imbalance is that you're trying to control instead of go with the flow of life. And the reason why is because that second chakra is all about your birthing center, your unique individuality, your emotions. And so it's again who you perceive you are. It's your creativity center. So it's like, and that's through the unfoldment process of figuring out who you are. And that's where you're putting your time, your energy, your focus, and your money. And in the whole becoming, then you can go with the flow of life. Then relationships are actually good because you learn boundaries. You're like, not today because I have such and such. No, or you know what? It annoys me when you do it. That if you don't, it's like no one's coming over overly sensitive. No one takes things personally. You're able to have a conversation because it's again, you feel good about yourself. That person feels good about themselves. So they know that it's not an attack. Otherwise, you're dealing with someone that has baggage, that hears everything through like this filtered distortion, like, well, you told me to take out the fucking garbage. Well, what the fuck does that mean? You used to call it a slob, and it's like, no, what I'm saying is fucking starting to smell in here. You need to take out the garbage. It's like, well, everything's become like that, where it's like, and that's because that person needs healing. So what you're doing is you are learning through the art of becoming. And so then relationships make it very easy. And then when you see it, like someone's like that, you've been, not today. You I'm due back on the planet Earth right now. You need to come back down into the present and realize that I'm not attacking you. It's like, but you need to heal whatever that is because it's not a good look for you. It's realizing that's your shit. That's not mine. And I'm not going to really entertain it either. Because what'll happen is person will realize I was an asshole. And if the relationship means something, they will come and apologize. Doesn't mean that the relationship goes back to normal. What it means is that person accepts and you leave them in a better, place for the next person. And then the karma is, well, I screwed up on that relationship, and they'll compare you to everybody. Like, for a little while anyway, it's like, because it's like, again, that one that got away. But it's like got away because you were an asshole. It's like because you again like thought you were going to gamble with the relationship, or thought that I was going to play the game, when really it's like I didn't play the game. I don't accept the game. I don't like this, and you need to grow up, because at the end of the day you'll wind up alone with that type of behavior, and they'll know it. It's like they just haven't come across a person that is like loves themselves enough like be able to cut it. They're like, well, no, either I'll throw money at you, or like, you want my body, or you want something, that I can win you over with to manipulate back what I've done, instead of no, this is really what it is. It's like, because you'll realize it's not worth it. It's like, and that's the thing, they'll realize, well, the difference between someone that they can just throw money at and someone that they can do those things to, like, and still not, between someone that's like, you know what, I don't really need your money and I don't really need your time. It's like either, because it's not genuine. It's like, then they're like, that's the type of person that I actually want to be with. I never knew what it looked like before. And it's because, again, their ego is like, what do you mean you don't want to be with me? Everyone wants to be with me. Oh, it's like, no, I don't. Not if you're going to be like that. And that's why I'm saying it's like people tend to think that they can control love. They can hold out for a certain amount of time, though, kind of like playing chicken. You know what I mean? It's like that James Dean movie, like you're in the car. It's like that's what it is. Well, and that's the thing. You'll get that, but it's also like you have to become it and you have to demand it. You have to demand it because most people don't even know what that looks like. It's like, and we're like, look how they treated me. And then spirit's like, look how they treat themselves. They don't even realize. Like they think that that life is a good life. That's the irony because it's like all about me, all about me, all about me. They don't realize they're racking up karmic like points that are not really good, which is making them feel like they can't have love, and no one wants to stay in that. They might want to live that way for a period of time, but they no one wants to live that way forever. Then because what happens is it's like I really can't have it. So then I have to become it, and then I isolate myself, and it creates a lot of emotional imbalances, which with people that have big ego, it turns into addiction because with these emotions. I can't. I didn't deal with them before. That's why I have detachment and disassociation disorder. This is why I treat my relationships the way that I do. And I'm not going to about to feel all these emotions now because I had to deal with it. So that's why I'm saying it's like they have to integrate it, and they can integrate it, but they can only integrate it if you're going to hold to your point. Well, that's why I said the major addictions is that it's because I don't feel good living this way. Because we can live out of balance, but when you live out of balance, you can feel it. You feel tired, you feel drained, and a lot of times because you have adrenal fatigue because your mind is racing. And so the people like that, where they live from their ego, it's a lot to keep up from the facade and the different masks which a lot of times people create without even realizing it. But if I don't feel good about myself, every situation that I occur, especially if it's like associated with love, is going to create a trauma response. And that's what people don't realize. That's what you're dealing with. And people act differently when they come from survival. And so that's why I said the only thing that can heal it is love, but it's not loving that person. People go after a person that's continually abusing them. No, it's to love yourself because that person came to you because they liked you. Their perception of you was whatever it was, which was like that person's sweet, that person's nice, that person's loving. You could be like, yes, I am all those things, but watch me display it to myself and the community that actually gives me something back. It's like for you, I'll give you the breadcrumb. It's like, and then they're like, well, why do I only get a breadcrumb? I don't understand why I only get a breadcrumb. What the fuck do I only get a breadcrumb? And then it's like, well, maybe let me try and give another breadcrumb. Let me try and do this. Let me try. It's like, yeah, you need to think. The person is scared stupid that they don't do anything. So that's why I'm saying it's like, that's what a block is. I overthink to the point that I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. Like it's like I keep getting my own way. I sabotage the relationship. I I and it's because their actions are so I don't really believe that I can have it and I'm really afraid to do it. So the action is in alignment with that. And here you are like, what the you give me this like half a cracker and you said you're gonna take me out for a meal and this is a half a cracker. like like it's like the person's like, oh, you wanted to eat more. It's like why don't you have a conversation with me to like actually, oh, that would require intimacy. That would require like actually letting my guard down. Well, that's kind of scary. I psychically want to figure it out, but you can't figure out anything psychically because you're blocked, because your brain continues to go on overdrive. So that's what you're dealing with. You're dealing with someone that like is literally delusional. Like, and they're delusional because of all their past relationships. So they're living from that level of consciousness where they're like, I really can't have it. So you have to surrender and be like, okay, there's feelings there. I have feelings for you, you have feelings for me. We might not even be able to walk away. However, energy into myself. So again, and that might mean For your job, it's like, well, taking further classes, taking time out to master your craft every day, taking time to network, belonging to different like things. Remember, you have a root chakra in balance. Spirit's like, actually, the integration process isn't just, oh, well, I did great within my job. Spirit's like, well, how? That how? It's like I tell you, I help you, but you have to utilize whatever's in your environment to help you get there. There's not enough of that. So too much mind energy goes towards that person. And if you have a spiritual connection, that person can feel it. They're like, oh, that person's right there. I can feel them. It's like ESP through the heart and mind. You felt each other through lifetimes. You think a few months means something or a few weeks. It's like, first, like, no, you can still feel them. You have to cut that energy. Your mind can't be in two places at one time. You put it towards your hobbies, your interests, and actually the grounding process in becoming yourself. That's what's lacking. That's that second chakra. As long as that second chakra is at balance, that's why you will continue to attract people that are like, you're emotional. There's like literally like there's like you need a little wheelchair for your emotions because it's like you don't know how to process. They're all fragmented. And that's because that person wasn't allowed. So that's why Spirit says, but that's your strength. So there is a strong psychic connection. It's again because of that. It's communication. Right. And that's why I'm saying it's like that's why you can like completely cut the energy and integrate the energy when you when you learn your spiritual lessons. It's again, that's how you shape shift the reality because there's many different realities that play out at one time. Your level of consciousness depends on what you do. So you have to remember that that's really what it's about. It's about you integrating the spiritual lesson. And then like I said, then the person might come into your life and you actually have a little bit of a chance, but what you'll see is the person still is not going to be that you'd want to be with because now you've changed to the point that you're like, well, now it's like it doesn't, it's not what it was. It says no, because you learned the spiritual lesson. And so, and now you're able to attract someone that's again not as emotionally like broken, like or fragmented, someone that, and now you left that person in a better state. You know, that's a leafy happening. Oh, that's already happening. Yeah, well, that's why I'm saying once that, so it's like you will meet somebody. It's not like you're not, it's just where you are right now. Spirit saying, I don't want you to. There's not enough of you. So you'll meet people and you'll date them, but you'll be like, there's nothing really that came of it. It's like, you didn't really like, and Spirit says, that's because you're not supposed to. Will it like, and also there's a part of you that can learn then to set boundaries. It's like the person, but not really that much. So it's like, yes, you can take me to dinner tonight. Maybe you feel like asking for what you want, right? Maybe you again have a hard time setting boundaries. So it's like, no, I really can't see you tonight because I'm doing X, Y, and Z. So getting into the practice of, you know, of saying what you want, doing what you want, and navigating the relationship without giving a fuck about the other person. And it doesn't mean that you don't give a fuck to the point that you're rude, you're mean, or disrespectful. What it means is, yeah, I like you, but I like me. And it's like, and so I am like having a love affair with myself. Now, since you like me and you want to take me out to dinner, I'm going to let you take me out to dinner. I'm going to let you spend time on me. I'm going to let you treat me well. And if I want something or suggest something, I'm going to feel free to say, I always wanted to visit this park. Would you like to go to the park? It's again, learn how to ask for what you need to set boundaries and to do because Spirit's saying, like, there's not enough. or you have to embody it because that you haven't gotten that. So you got to do that with friends. So like I said, it's like, yeah, because people then begin to get disrespectful. And that's what Spirit said. It's like, so you'll have that with your relationships and even friends. So that's why I'm saying part of it is just you reprogramming without realizing that that's what Spirit's actually doing, is reprogramming you. Whenever you get on your path, that's what's happening. Even winding up on this channel, getting this reading, it's like that Spirit saying, like, you're ready. It's time. It's like, keep on track, keep your focus. I'm bringing you everything that you need. You're supported, and that's it. Otherwise, there's a sense of, well, like, it's not going to happen. And Spirit says it's going to happen, just not in your timing. And if you didn't have the love, you're going to be really impatient to be like, like it's like you're gonna like. Spirit says you can't be in the type of energy and want something to come into your life. Like it'll happen when you're in that energy of unconditional love. It's because you want someone to view you from that perception of, wow, this person's really invested in friends. They have a love affair with their life. They don't need me in their life. That makes you attractive. Then you can't get a needy Nelly guy to come into your life, or a needy Nelly, whatever, girl come into your life. You can't have anybody because it doesn't match your energy, in your case, guy. But it's like, you understand what I'm saying? Like, it's like, it doesn't, like, that person is going to be like, well, I like this person. I need to match their energy. So they'll actually fake it a little bit. You weed out like those people that are not. Well, I'm glad that you enjoyed your reading, and like I said, it's gonna happen. I just don't feel like it's happening tomorrow, about the love, and that's the way you cut off this person's energy. Because, like I said, you think that everybody comes along that loves as much as you do. No, they don't. It's like they thought that you were like replaced. Guess what? Not so much. Not so much. It's you have selection, but you have people, but the selection is horrible. It's like, and that's what they'll see, because their energy is horrible. They just want to take and not give. So eventually, that's the energy that they wind up with, and they do look back and they're like, but you're over there having a good time. And so they know, either I'm going to come back and I got to come back completely different because this person's going to laugh in my fucking face, or I need to just stay away. And a lot of times they stay away just because they don't have the confidence to come back. They're like, I already know that this person's going to laugh in my face, and their ego can't handle it. They're like, this is the last bit of dignity that I have, so I'm going to stand by it. You know what I mean? And that's why you just got to be like, know that they see it. That's the revenge, your life. That's how you cut the energy, your life, and you're doing it. So that's probably why you feel this person's energy more, because this person isn't around me as much, where I always felt like they would be. And you're like, nope, gone. I'm over there having a good time. And the whole time you thought that I was here, the whole time you were in imagination land, feeding your ego, oh, this person likes me, likes me. Then you wake up and you're like, wait a minute, they're over there in Syria. Oh, they're not anywhere near me. They haven't even made. Did I imagine that? It's like, yeah, you imagined it. It's like, because it's like you ain't all that. It's like that's what they need to see. That's why. So if you like your reading, do me a favor, just after we shut this chat, all these comments go away. So it's almost like I did the reading and I'm talking to myself. So at the end of it, if you just comment that you enjoyed your reading, so that people want to play the pick a card and listen to the videos, because they are a little bit different. Like I said, the shadow readings will tell you everything. they're just not going to tell you like this is what's going to happen, because a lot of times what's going to happen is things that you wouldn't like. It's always going to come from a block, instead of what's really happening. So, I pride myself on being a healer. I like the readings to be in alignment with healing. So thank you so much for playing and joining and watching the channel. I really appreciate it. I really do. I really appreciate your time and your support. And thank you. And if you need shadow healing, definitely check out my shadow healing program. It comes with inner child healing, shadow healing, reparenting, and all the healing modalities to heal the effects of trauma. Because, our nervous system gets affected and the way that we think gets affected. So all that. Yeah, like you can, but not right now, because I gotta go. I actually have a meeting for a guest that's gonna be on my show next week. And I forgot about the meeting yesterday. No, not yesterday, the day before. She was like, I saw her text at like 11 o'clock and we had a meeting at 2 o'clock. I was like, oh, I forgot. I definitely don't want to miss, but we can set something up. All right. But thank you. Thank you for joining. And I'll talk to you guys soon. I'll get a few videos up later. Bye.